our whole lives we conceive of spiritual development as looking for the answer. Is it Taoism? Is it diet? Is it Tantra? We look for the answer. And I think we have become so accustomed to looking for the answer that it's never really entered our minds what it would be like to find it. To have it, yes. And once you come face to face with these psychedelics, the trail ends that you have found the answer. Not because perhaps because you're smart, perhaps because you're lucky, perhaps because you deserved it, perhaps because you hang out with the right people. You have found the answer. Now the question is, what the hell do you do with it? Because the answer is going to make hash out of your life, because your life is based on living without the answer. So suddenly, it's not, I want to be an enlightened being, I want to be a shaman, I want to be a Taoist, I want to be a yogi. Be it. See how you like it. So the answer to the question of why don't I take more is because I'm attached, basically. It is entirely my own attachments that now impede my spiritual growth. Nobody's holding me back. Nothing is holding me back except my sense of the awesomeness of what is now possible. And this is true of everybody who reaches a certain point. Think of the Taoist sage on Cold Mountain who has been up there in the fog and the mist and the rock escarpments for 30, 40, 50 years. And the people in the village occasionally mention him to each other and say, is old Fu Si still alive? Has anyone seen him recently? And someone will say, oh yes, I saw him 3 years ago across a valley gathering wood, but when I approached, he ran further up the mountain and disappeared. To be Fu Si is entirely possible, to actually attain what we have previously thought of as unattainable spiritual accomplishments. But I don't think it can happen without leaving everything. Do you really want to be a Taoist hermit circulating the light for 200 years in a cave high up above timberline? You can, there's nothing stopping you once you understand that this psychedelic vehicle is available. I'm appalled at that. It's one thing to change your life to be nicer to your coworkers. It's quite another to change your life to be incomprehensible to 99.9% of all humanity. So once you have the psychedelic tool in hand, then real choices have to be made. What is this to you? Is it simply something that you do once or twice a year to affirm to yourself that it's possible? Or is it something that you can use in some way for your good and the world's? That's sort of where I have come to rest, and I hope it's not a delusion. But I think that there are ideas out there, and that they don't do any good out there, that they only have efficacy if brought into 3 dimensions. And there are all kinds of ideas. In fact, they are all ideas. So we're talking about a more efficient internal combustion engine, how people can learn to love each other, how to save the planet, the most efficient way of packing crackers in a box for long shelf life and low destruction of their structural integrity. It doesn't matter what the problem is. The answer can be found out there. Well, it puts people who are into this psychedelic thing in an entirely different stance from all other spiritual seekers, because all other spiritual seekers are furiously seeking. Psychedelic people are holding it back with all their power because they are in the presence of the mystery, and then the trick is to get a spigot on it so that it can be turned on and off rather than just coming at you like a tidal wave a mile high and 20 miles wide. So it's a different problem, an embarrassment of riches, an embarrassment of access to past, present, future, alien dimensions, mantra-hoarding elves, and promise-bearing demons. And so strangely enough, it creates a certain kind of conservatism. Now, I don't think that everybody realizes this. Many people take psychedelics in order to prove to themselves that they can and then gain acceptance from their social group. It's a way of fitting in. But those people, you can always evade the mystery. Not always. But if you're trying to, from the get-go, you can evade fully confronting the mystery. And but if it's what you want, you will quickly discover that you have hit the main vein, and that changes the rules of the game pretty entirely.